Welcome. We are live. Absolutely fantastic. My name is Simon Ellis, and I want to welcome you back into this live Q&A with our incredible ambassadors. But I have to say, this Royal Glory collection, launched virtually for the second time, this is the second time we've ever done it, has been, for me, a massive success. And the reason why is because of you, your participation, your involvement, you absolutely putting up questions, asking things, and so on. And the involvement of our incredible ambassadors, for me, has been something quite unique. And you know why it's so unique? It's because we created a community. And I think this is what it's all about during these challenging times when we're all sometimes so tired of sitting at home, being in lockdown or whatever, in really challenging environments. To be able to have something like today, a short kind of snapshot into the world of fashion, into the world in which we live and in which we inhabit, which is all about, at the end of the day, making someone look and feel more beautiful. For me, it was something really special. And being a moderator and watching the interaction between yourselves as an audience and a community with our global ambassadors, our creatives, for me was something really unique and special. And today, this evening, here in Hamburg, what I want to now do is moderate the last part of this event, and I hope that you've really enjoyed it so far in, because I have, and I say that from my heart to you. It's been, as I said before, truly inspirational. What we have is an opportunity for you to engage directly with our ambassadors, to post up questions, to ask anything that you want to ask, something that we haven't covered, something that you visualize for the future, whatever, because at the end of the day, what makes these kind of collections so special is you and the people we work with. And I have to say, with this collection, with the Royal Glory collection, it's been a unique experience to be able to involve some truly incredible new talent to the table. And first of all, I just want to say, at the end of the day, our industry isn't just about great haircutting, it's about great coloring as well as other services. But it's all about the complementary services and putting them all together to create what I call a total experience for our clients. So I quickly want to thank our ambassadors and thank our creatives who participated. And first of all, I would like to thank, Viola, who is new to the table, has been with us for many years, from Germany, absolutely tremendous colorist, really tremendous. Secondly, I want to also welcome Shai, yes, in partnership with Flo, but I'm doing women first, so I think it's as I should. Shai, as part of the Shai and Flo team, again, amazing haircutting, but you know what's interesting about this duo? They interact, they can interchange their skill set between each other. And they are really, again, a really special couple who produce amazing ideas that drives our industry forwards. Thirdly, of course, the one and only Leslie, who I think at the end, well, with her ideas, her imagination, her sheer interaction with all of us over these last 3 days has been just short of phenomenal, okay? And just really, at the end, there is only one and only. Then I would like to introduce our newcomers. First of all, as I know, you must know Jack Howard. Jack Howard, who really is truly one of the world's great blonde specialists, in my view. He is absolutely, what he does with blonde hair, like no one else does. It's truly phenomenal, okay? Really, believe me. And secondly, I would like to introduce Randolph Gray. And Randolph, because Randolph and the way he just works with things, and I loved his little video that he was doing. He was slightly nervous at the beginning, but then he got straight into it. And what he was producing was sheer brilliance. And that's what it's all about. Just creating and cooking with hair, cooking with color. And then, of course, when I talk about cooking with color and being the kind of artisan and the artist that he is, the exceptional Eduardo as well, and what you saw with his little kind of sectioning, his little kind of mushrooms or whatever he was doing, just amazing color. And someone said today, that they want to be able to capture all these people and put them together and actually experience them. And I say to you, one and all, that absolutely that is the way to go. that you need to be able to experiment and get these kind of people on board, doing seminars for you, whether it's virtually or physically in the future, but engage with them because they really inspire the world and they're the ones that drive our industry forwards. And when we talk about driving our industry forwards, a lot of these people were working on what I call wonderful, wonderful shapes and base haircuts. And again, I want to say thank you to both Shai and Florian for his color work, and because they did a beautiful look altogether. And of course, you saw these wonderful, wonderful shapes created by the one and only, again, Tyler. I mean, the textures on Anna was just at the end where he was able to crimp and then just freehand cut. I mean, and I was in the room when he was doing it, and we were talking about it on the day, and just creating these loose textures. I mean, just a different way of thinking, guys. You know, and this is what it's all about. And this is what Essential Looks is all about. It's about taking the trends and driving them forwards. So, we have lots and lots of questions, I know. And I've got my little iPad, which will bring up the questions as we talk. And I think, first and foremost, what I would like to do is kick off tonight. And first of all, there was a question from Boris in Switzerland, which was to say, can you give deeper insights into the fashion inspiration, the designer's makeup, and accessories of all three trends? I would say, look, we have an Essential Looks trend report, and this trend report is going to be put out at the end of the week as part of the Essential Looks website offer. So anybody who's viewing will be able to see an in-depth things on the accessories, on the designers that were creating these kind of looks and so on, the inspiration behind the three trends. You'll be able to see it on the website because frankly, otherwise I'm going to spend most of this dialoguing on this particular one topic. So Boris, I would say to you, just go, visit, and see the trend report live as it comes up at the end of this week, okay? And just to say for everybody else, all the assets that you've seen, you'll be able to download as of tomorrow. Everything comes down onto, just enter your code, you can go in and you can download. So really simple. One of the other questions that came up for Eduardo, and Eduardo, I'd ask you first of all, is how do you translate an inspiration to hair?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hi to everyone that is following us. And that's a good question, actually. Well, first of all, is where you get the inspiration. So inspiration can come from anywhere and anytime. Sometimes you just see something, like maybe like you're on the bus, on the tube, or you're just walking. Or even when you go traveling, it's like, personally, I love to go traveling. And I get inspiration lots from that, from just normal places. And sometimes you can just see maybe a flower or even just a cup of coffee. Or just like you walk into a restaurant and you see a chair and it has a pattern on it. So, and then that, what you see, you collect it and sometimes then it gets into you and then you think, yeah, that actually can work on hair.
I remember,
so how you translate it into the...
Yeah. I remember when I first met you, okay, and we met in Hamburg and you came over and I remember you had a book, we were talking about a book and you had this book on, I don't know, it was snake skins and you had these different patterns. I mean, and it was astounding because you were actually you were very passionate and you talked about these and you were talking about how you could create color effects with it. And it was absolutely fascinating. And yes, you get your inspiration from everywhere, as you say.
But as you say, it's like nature probably is the main inspiration because when you look at nature, it's just amazing. Yeah. But when you think it's like how you translate into the hair, that's actually is the most fun part because first of all, you just start to think how that might look on a woman or on a gentleman. And you have to, sometimes what's important, you have to adapt it and make it tasteful. When I say this, it's just that sometimes you see a pattern and you think, yeah, the pattern is beautiful, but maybe not the color combination. So you start to have to try and see if it works. First, maybe you draw it. and then you actually go into the hair. And when you go into the hair, you have to. The beauty of translate an inspiration to the hair is to find a technique.
Okay.
And that's when the fun starts. It's like you just have to
play.
find a way to create that.
Yeah.
So maybe you just start to backcomb, you start to smudge it.
Okay.
So all this creative process is the real.
Fantastic.
That's how you translate. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question, this time for me to Shai and Tyler, okay? What is your secret to finding the right hairstyle for each client? Oh, the magic bullet. That's a really good question. So who wants to go first? Shai, do you want to go first?
Please,
or Tyler?
Shai
Ladies first?
Yeah, Shai first.
Sure. So, can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually a very intuitive person, so I mostly trust my intuition. But if the customer comes in, I always check her out, how she looks and how her hair looks. And I noticed that everyone likes to be effortless. No one wants to really do a lot with the hair. So I just look at the hair and see what we can do. And I think it's what I love very much is that there is always something interesting about everyone, and you can do something special out of every person. And I think that's the thing that really much fascinates me.
Yeah. Tyler.
Sorry, Simon, just repeat the question again so I get this right.
It was, what is your secret to finding the right hairstyle for each client?
Okay, so I think there's a difference. Obviously, I don't work in a salon anymore. I've not been doing clients for nearly 20 years. So my work is in the studio generally with models or celebrities. It's a great question because I think, we are all inspired and, and for the last few days, we've been heavily inspired by what we've seen from these incredible hairdressers over the last couple of days. And I think it's very easy to take those trends and take those looks and fit them onto the clients that are coming into the salon. My approach, obviously, when I'm working with models, I tend to be working on campaigns or, with clients and working with models. So it's more about a brief, what is a certain brief that we're working to and what is, the kind of the overall look or feeling that we're going for. And I think when you're looking at someone, okay, suitability is important, but I think it's about their spirit as well and what works with them as a person. Certainly from when you're in a salon environment, I think you need to, at the end of the day, we're in the beauty industry and it's our job to make people look good, and not every haircut or color is going to suit the individual. So I think it's about looking at the individual, finding a little bit about their spirit and also what suits them.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I mean, I think it's interesting that, at the end of the day, someone made a comment when you were talking about your model Tila and what a graceful neckline she had. And I remember when you cut her hair off, she came in to the shoot and we were talking about doing a shorter hairstyle, and just the transformation, sometimes these small details just can transform someone completely.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think some of that obviously is experience, Simon, kind of knowing, what's going to work. But also I think sometimes you have to really go for it. You have to be brave and, you've got the tools, you know what to do. You've just got to kind of really apply yourself in the right way, think about structure and suitability and really go for it.
Yeah, totally agree. Talking about suitability and things, Florian, your color that you did on your model was pretty out there. I mean, it was kind of golden green. I mean, really. And I remember looking at some of the mixing bowl and you had this green sludge, it was like, wow. And yet the finished result was like stunning. Could you talk us through this contrast, because there's a question that's come up, which was to Shai and Florian. It was help. It was about your colors. Just talk your colors through while I find the question.
Yeah, actually, I think the question was about the contrast of the colors of the green and gold.
That's right.
And for us, is always about thinking out of the box and challenging ourselves. And you might think, if you think about warm and cool colors, or like especially if it's green and gold color, which is the complementary color. I hope you can hear me still. I can't hear you anymore, but I'm just keeping going. And
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay, I hear you again.
Yeah.
I'm back. So we thought, how can we make it look beautiful? Because if you have green and red next to each other in your head, you maybe think there's not going to be a solution for it. So that was actually the plan for us, to make it look beautiful, to make it sound well, and to have a composition that still works. And one big inspiration definitely was impressionist paintings. And like there you have a lot of these beautiful, like a lot of times complementary colors that still work so well and fit together. And we really tried to translate this to our style.
Yeah, got it. Because it said, why did you use gold base along with green flicks? That was the great answer.
Exactly. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. I want to now jump to Jack, because I thought there was a great question here.
Oh.
How can you, because obviously, you are really, the world's great blonder, in my view. And you know what's so interesting is that, blonde is in our world, it's one of the fastest growing arenas. And it's, Blonde Me, the brand Blonde Me, has been literally double-digit growth year on year on year. And it's such a topical question. I mean, everybody would aspire to be blonde in some way. And we got a great question from South Africa, which was, how can you explain to a consumer in a simple way how to use Blonde Me?
So I assume from that question that we're talking about the retail. Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about, because the retail's just been relaunched?
Yeah, I guess.
Or are we talking about the pre-lighteners and the blending? Because, I mean, I could talk about Blonde Me all day, as you well know, Simon. So, but for me, first of all, a premium product that it's got, with the blue, with the 9+, it's got up to 9 levels of lift. So you're going to get everything that you want from it. And with the clay, it's so beautiful to paint with. But I think for a consumer, they don't understand those kind of differences. So for me, it's about the fact that the hair's in better condition when you finish than when you started, that the bonding forcing technology is built into it. It's a luxury product, so you get a beautiful result with it, a beautiful feel. And that the care range is designed for you to use at home, which maintains those bonds in the hair and keeps that blonde looking fresh and salon perfect.
Yeah, great answer, great answer. Randolph, question for you. Why is color placement important?
Wow, color placement. There's so many different ways you can come at it. So color placement, because I got this thing, because I work a lot on Afro hair. And when I work on Afro hair, I like to use the minimum amount of color with the maximum effect. So what I'm looking at is, how am I going to make this work? So it's no point putting if you're going to do slices of a bright red on a dark base of a 4, which is dark brown. If you put it like down by the ear or down by the neck, no one's ever going to see it. So you have to make sure that you can put it where you can see it. So I always try to work from the top and work my way down when I'm working stuff like that. And also, it's a cool tool, because you've got a client comes in, she wants something special done, she hasn't got time to sit down to have a full head of foils in, so you do a center parting, do a couple of foils under the center parting, comb it down, you've got amazing color. So you can make somebody look like they've got a full head of color or full head of highlights or a contrast color, when in actual fact, all you've done is put in 3 or 4 foils. So color placement is tantamount to creating an amazing look. It's kind of like an illusion. So you look at the color, but you lift it up underneath, it's just all natural.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Randolph. Viola, coming to you. I was working with you the other day. I mean, again, you're totally inspirational in the things that you create. And talking about inspirational, I want to ask you one simple question. What inspires you?
Oh, that's a good question. That's Leslie and Tyler inspired me. Teamwork for so many years, and that's for me, it's essential looks. That's inspired for me. So every time, every years. So thank you so much.
Oh, bless. Thank you. Okay. Simple answer. And that's great to hear from a great artist herself. So another question to Leslie, Randolph, Jack from Bonnie in India. Okay. Back to classics. Trend 2. If we must recreate a similar trend on a dark Indian hair, what color direction would you choose for a model with slightly darker skin tones? Whoa, that's a good one.
Four. Can I go first? I
thought it was
to me
ladies first.
personally. Oh, so sorry.
I thought Leslie.
What are you trying to
Don't worry,
say?
darling. After you.
I'm not. I'm not. Live broadcast.
So I've got it in my head. So I'm sorry, Leslie, darling.
Sweetie, after you.
After you.
I don't.
No, what
Okay,
I
for
was
me,
saying,
what I. Oh,
Guys,
Sorry,
come on,
Leslie,
moderation,
Leslie, I'll
moderation.
wait for you.
We have only got 45 minutes. Need you to be precise with your answers. Concise. Yeah?
Okay, I'll go.
okay, so let me
For
go.
me,
Right. Leslie, go first because you're ladies, please, and you haven't spoken. So why
Okay.
don't we start with you? See, this is where
Okay, so
moderation
for me, I
needs to
do
come in.
think, yeah, these kind of tones really look fantastic on darker skins, but the way that you achieve them is obviously going to be totally different because we use the -6, the -6.5, and of course, if I use those colours on darker hair, you're going to get way too much warmth and definitely not enough lift. So for me, I love to go with the -4.2, the -2.4, the -1, any of those kind of cooler tones that you know on a dark base is really going to lift. Like, you know, if you're going for a depth 9, you're going to get that amount of lift that you need, but you're only going to neutralize some of that warmth and you'll still keep some of that sort of warmth that gives you this idea of a reflexive chocolate tones.
Jack.
Over to you.
Jack, you go next. Randolph, that's your penalty. You go last.
So funny. So I couldn't agree with Leslie any more than that, really. Undercoats on darker bases are going to be super strong and they're going to be really warm through there. So neutralizing power of the cooler shades, less warmth for me. But I think it's all about taste level, isn't it? It's about the connection between you and your client that's in front of you. And one person next to you might think something differently, but a client comes to you for your vision and for your feeling, and color's very, very emotional. So it's really about a good consultation, a good figuring out of what the client wants. Ty was talking about that a little bit beforehand, about sort of going for it and then taking the plunge and actually creating something beautiful.
Brilliant. Randolph.
I'm not playing now. No, I'm joking. No, I agree with what both Jack and Leslie said. When you're working on darker skin, you've got to be careful that, as you say, when you lighten, it becomes very, very warm. And what I really don't like is you end up with the color of the hair being almost exactly the same color as their skin.
Yep.
And I think that should be avoided at all costs. So you've got to either make sure that your color, if it's going to be warmer, then it needs to be darker than their skin tone, or you're going to take it lighter and cooler. So you're just going to look at the skin tones and just avoid your color coming out the same as the skin tone.
Following on from there, now I want to just quickly turn to maybe Leslie, you pick it up first of all, because it's a question to everyone. But maybe, Leslie, you lead, because I think this question comes from Ian in the US. And again, a really good one. How do you like to blend colors together best? Fingers, wow comb, cutting comb, or...
I was just going to say, Simon, it's none of those. And it's all of them. It depends on what technique. But for me, every single technique I do, I'm going to use a color blender because it's really the easiest and fastest and most important, it's the cleanest way to do any of those blending techniques. Yeah, that's my answer.
Anyone else? Jack, anything from your side? Eduardo?
Yeah, I mean, as you saw in the blend that we did on the lovely dark base that Tyler and I did together and Leslie demonstrated for me, we blended with our tint brushes. We blended the color through that. I love the fact that Leslie sometimes uses the blender, and she also showed that trick with a comb. And I like to get my hands in and merge those colors together as well. So really, it's personal choice, and as long as you get the right result, I think.
Yeah. Eduardo?
Myself.
Oh, no, Randolph, you go. Go, please. Come on. You step in.
Myself, I like blending with a brush because it gives me a lot of control. But the blender, the new tool, it's kind of like magic. All of a sudden, you've got this tool that just makes the whole thing much nicer and much quicker, and you get this really soft blended effect. And very occasionally, I would use my fingers.
Yeah. Eduardo Viola, have you got an opinion? I think Eduardo, in terms of kind of using, how do you like to blend colors together? Can you not hear? Okay, I think we've lost Eduardo.
Simon, just while you're waiting
Florian?
for their sound to come back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we go on. So, like, if we're melting, like I'm actually very inspired by the color blender. Like, we really want to have one as soon as it's available. I don't know if it's possible to order it already. So we were definitely burning to use it in the salon.
Shai and Flo.
I tried to steal Leslie's.
Shai and Flo, I shall make sure that you definitely get some. I don't know if you, I mean, I know you all know how I was inspired to make them, but just if there's anyone out there that doesn't, I was really inspired by the beauty world and in particular the beauty blender, which I have one in front of me. And I think most people will recognize this. It's a way of for us to blend in makeup, foundation, blusher, etc., etc. And I'd been looking for a colouring tool that would help us do those blending and melting techniques that have been so popular for so long, but in a way are not even a trend anymore. It's just a way of colouring now. And we spent over nearly 2 years getting this absolutely right. In fact, William at head office in Hamburg put it through the dishwasher to make sure it's really robust. I definitely don't recommend that. You don't need to do that. But it's really the most amazing tool to do so many different techniques.
Amazing.
I love that William put it through the dishwasher, Leslie. I mean, talk about passionate.
Yes, I couldn't believe it when I heard. But I love the fact that, he was really testing it to its utmost. But, we tried different thicknesses, different lengths, etc. And for me, this has been just perfect. And I've used it on melting, bleaches or pre-lighteners for some countries, working different tones, whether it's toners or tints together, high lifts together. It's, you're going to get full saturation with this every single time. So this is my recommendation. This is my
it's something that the hand doesn't do, right? The hand isn't as soft as these blenders. So it's a cool thing that it's actually softer than your hands.
Oh, okay. That's a very good one. That's a good one. Shai, yeah, absolutely. And talking about, there was a question coming up to Florian, and it says, we want to know about how you decided where to place the knots.
Oh, okay. That's a cool one.
That's a cool one.
We started with the haircut, and obviously if we design colors, it definitely has to go very much along with the haircut and with the style. And then we thought we really want to emphasize the top layers of the look and want to keep the outlines darker to create dimension and to create depth. And that was actually why we decided to really place them on a row on top of the head.
Brilliant. Tyler, Two questions. First question, do you apply a product before you cut? If so, what is your go-to?
Good question.
Yeah.
I mean, the products it's interesting because if I'm working with texture, kind of like a thick or a dense texture, I feel like I need something just to give more kind of tension. And Hair Body from the Osis range is a brilliant product for that. The rest of the time, no, I don't. I suppose it's just really kind of feeling the texture and working with the texture first. But Hair Body, it kind of gives that sublime, texture while you're working. So yes.
But I guess my question to you, and this is not on the list, is more that you tend to choose the product based on what you see as an outcome of the texture or the look. Isn't that right? What I mean,
you mean products in general?
I mean, I know that, I've worked with you now, I mean, I don't know how, 30 years or
many years.
20, yeah, a lot of years. Okay?
Yeah, too.
And I know that sorry. And I know sometimes when you're working, we'll be talking about textures and then you'll just sort of work it through and we'll go, wow, that's an amazing texture. And then you'll say, yeah, I'll enhance that. And it's only then that you say, I think we need to use this particular product. That will do it.
Yeah.
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 So sometimes product choice is more based around what you're seeing is coming through.
Yeah, product. I mean, I think textures is one of my things.
Yeah.
I give. I must admit, working with the Osis team is great. I do challenge them because I think, and I think in the line of Osis now, the products that we've got, there is something that really does kind of caters for the modern textures. I think textures have changed over, the last kind of 5-10 years in the sense of, the mattifying textures and the clay-like and the matting, those type of finishes. But, in a sense, hair is like a fabric. I think I mentioned this in the presentation today with you, Simon, and when, those haircuts that I was doing on both Eduardo's and Leslie's model for the, the last two trends where I was working very freehand, you notice that I worked with the natural texture. I kind of blew, Eduardo's, we blew it out into that kind of rounded silhouette. And then it was kind of working again with dry hair, kind of using it as a fabric. And then with Leslie's, where I micro crimped it first, which is something, I said before is, obviously I'm a session stylist. I don't work in the hair salon anymore. So I am working a lot with wigs and hair pieces. And that's our approach and how we work with breaking down and reducing weight. And you tend to find that those textures are slightly different to, human hair. So textures for me is a massive thing.
Yeah, I know they are. And in talking about creating textures, I've got a couple of questions about your scissors. It says one question was, Tyler, everyone is obsessed with your scissors. Where are they from? And someone else, I think it was Bonnie, wrote, do you need different scissors between if you're cutting dry or wet hair and cutting from dry to wet? I guess not.
Is that Bonnie? Did you say Bonnie in India?
Yeah, Bonnie in India.
Hi, Bonnie. Good question. Yeah, I'm actually very fortunate. I'm very lucky and feel slightly blessed because a lot of people throw scissors at me, different companies to use. And I tend to I use a lot of Japanese scissors. My scissors of choice at the moment are Wings Echo. They're actually custom made for me, which is kind of, very nice.
Wow.
Because
that's an honor.
I'm very fortunate. But, the whole balance of blades is really important. Going back to the question from Bonnie in India is, no, I don't use a different pair of blades for working on dry hair to wet hair. I tend to use the same kind of scissors and I never sharpen my scissors. I always tend to, use another pair, get a new pair. Yeah. But I think, really, your hands are the magic. They're the tools that do all of the work. But obviously having a sharp pair of scissors is important. Because especially when you're working with texture and you're breaking down texture and refining hair and that real attention to detail, or if you're doing a crafted fringe, your blades really come into that.
Yeah. I always say, I mean, working, in my, I always remember Vidal saying, the great Vidal Sassoon, he once said to me, if you're going to create a Rolls-Royce haircut, then you can only use Rolls-Royce tools. He said, you can't create that using a Mini. He said, sorry. He said, you have to work with the best tools available. And I've never forgotten that, Tyler. And I think, especially when it comes to scissors, we know that the Japanese craftsmen, the people who make the swords, often make the greatest scissors. And, as a hair cutter, I know that a great tool, a great pair of scissors, whatever, a great blow dryer, they are the must-haves. And you don't ever compromise on that quality when you're delivering quality services to a client. End of story.
Yeah.
Quick question,
right, Simon. It's a little bit like Simon. It's a little bit like a chef, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like a chef, exactly. And in fact, one day I had a conversation with Eduardo on exactly that topic when we were doing a workshop in Vienna. We were talking about how the idea of that hairdressing is so close to food in many, many ways, and that hairdressers are in a way chefs. And we were talking about the kind of different tools that one needs to do, to use, and about the quality. So absolutely right. Quick question to Leslie. It was. I've lost it. No, it keeps moving around. Are there any? Right. Can you use your color blender on Afro hair?
Absolutely.
On black hair, can you?
I have used it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say that's one of the perfect. And Randolph?
It's a perfect texture.
Absolutely agree.
Absolutely perfect texture. It's a really good way to blend colours in and get those kind of mottled effects as well. You can get full saturation, but if you're doing something that's really cute and creative, you can create, just by having a softer press onto the hair with the colour blender. You get the most amazing results.
Yeah.
Great question.
Lovely question from Marlon in Germany to Jack. Jack, brilliant one. What was the inspiration behind the colours you used and the way you formulate them?
So if we're going to talk about Rolls-Royce, we've got to talk about Igori, yeah? It's the Rolls-Royce of colour, first of all. And I think that a lot of the conversations, we've talked about texture over the weekend, and we've talked about texture with cutting, which of course is so important, but we've really talked about texture and opposing tones, how opposing tones of color can create movement and light and the illusion of depth and lightness and all those things. So for me, what I wanted to do with the color choice was I wanted something simple and darker around the skin tone and the root area, but I wanted to play with warm and cool colors in there so that the haircut had some hidden layers through there. It had some undercut pieces going through. And I wanted that to sort of enhance that and work with it. But I really wanted it to be commercially viable too. So that slight warmth with that beigey blonde with a slight hint of pink in it and then going into a cooler tone on the ends. I just thought they really sat well together. And I think that I felt, and I still feel when I look at the finished image, I feel that it works really well. Yeah. But colours is so important in creating so many different illusions in the hair, I think. And I'm sure Leslie and Randolph and everyone else agree too.
Yes, good, love it. Great answer. And, I just say to everybody, you need to get these guys in front of you. Someone said today, you wanted to bring Eduardo to Mexico. And I could sort of, these guys are the people that you should see face-to-face live or virtually live or whatever on one-to-ones. They're amazing. I mean, you just heard Jack. I mean, the guy can talk forever in terms of his competence in color is second to none. No, I say that with in total awe of your skill set and what you delivered. And, Jack worked we did a shoot in London recently where Jack did, I don't know, how many models was it, Jack? Can you remember?
We did 9, didn't we? We did 9 in London.
Campaign. Yeah. And in fact, we saw some of the advertising, and it was amazing to watch because Jack was really challenged from having to do everything on dark skin tones, dark bases, and so on, and lift. But can I just tell you, what was produced was exceptional, and that's what makes.
That was teamwork, though. That was Tyler doing the beautiful styling and the cuts and everything. I mean, you know, we talk, and I think that the important thing is it's not just great color; it's a great color and a great haircut. They work together.
Well said. Well said. See these guys live. They need to have their seminars up and running. You have to visit Shine Flow as well. It's in beautiful Zurich because they've got a salon beyond. And they run seminars. So I would say, guys, you need to interact. You need to contact them, communicate with them, get them out there, get them sharing with you. Another great question, this time to Florian, funny enough, and also to Randolph. I think it's basically to Eduardo as well, because it says, how can you refresh the technique when it's washed out or faded? Haha, yeah, really good question. This came from Israel. So when your color's washed out or fading, how do you refresh, considering how you're working?
Like in terms of our technique, I love to use Chroma ID to refresh it. Like, it's the perfect fresh up for you in the salon and also for the client at home. It's like treating the hair very well and refreshes the color in the most beautiful way. And then you still have the chance to really do like a very special recipe for your client.
Brilliant. Guys, Eduardo, come on, you haven't spoken for a while. I need you to give us an answer now, because you were also doing this.
Yeah, I mean, refreshing is actually a very important service in the salon. I personally like when I refresh, it's not just about refreshing. It's also I like always to add something to it. So sometimes what I do is not just about recreating the same technique, but just change something to it. So for me, this is the secret. Always like add something up, or even maybe like take something off. Sometimes refreshing is not just like make it as bright as it was. You can even go back. So this is just like, you know, something that you can do. Refresh is not just about making a new color, like as the same as it was before.
Yeah. Randolph, any comment?
Depending on the
I kind of.
season,
Oh, sorry. Eduardo hasn't finished. Eduardo, carry on, please. Eduardo?
Yeah, I was saying, like, when a client comes back to the salon, you know, it's not like the same month when she came like 2 months ago. So the season changed. So sometimes refreshing means like, hey, it's winter, so maybe we go slightly darker.
Yeah, Greg's a really good point. Well said. I love that. That's really
so
important.
You have to look at all the details.
Yeah, because I always talk about, you know, when we talk about blondes, going back to Jacksonville, you know, I always say you could be a spring blonde, a summer blonde, a beach blonde. You can be a warm, an autumn blonde, and most importantly, you be a sexy blonde for Christmas. And they've all got different hues. Yeah, and look at Jack, absolutely right. You know, look at Jack's new hairstyle. I mean, it's amazing. What have you used on your hair? What have you used on your hair, Jack?
Blonde Me for pre-lightener, and then Chroma ID, the 9-1.
The 9-1,
yeah.
Brilliant.
Really nice, and that's now in my bathroom. But I love Chroma ID to refresh with. It's fantastic, and I love Vibrance to refresh my tints with. And then, of course, for my blondes, I go to my Blonde Me toners, of course. So slightly biased.
Viola, do you have a favorite blonde shade?
All pastel tones.
Yeah.
I love it. Violet, of course, but also beige and lightly rosé.
Yeah.
And yellow. That's for me. So a little bit yellow.
Yeah.
From Chroma ID. That's
gives a bit of punch.
It. Yes, I love it.
Love it. Brilliant. Because I've got another question to everyone from Rima in Canada. Can we get the same result with Chroma ID than with Agora Royal? I am working on Afro hair and I want to be able to really play with color without having to clean detox often.
Leslie.
Oh. That's a really good question. Rimmer, that's a really good question.
Leslie, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll go
It's to everybody, by the way. So, Randolph, you're allowed to chip in as well.
I mean, Randolph, you work a lot with afros, so I'm very willing to hand this over to you first, darling.
Oh, no. Leslie, you start. Leslie, start.
Okay.
Please start.
I'll start.
Randolph's going off on one again.
Okay, so for me, Chroma ID is just incredible. You have so much scope with what you can do with Chroma ID. Yeah. However, there is no lifting power in Chroma ID. So if you are working on darker bases, you can add warmth and you can add shine. You can go darker, but you can't go any lighter. So if you want to create some of those kind of pop colors or those stronger colors, or, you know, even if it's like a 588, you do need to pre-lighten first. But you definitely do not need to pre-lighten to pale yellow if you're going with those warmer colors. So any of the reds or the coppers or the golds or the yellows only lift up to like a yellow, and then you can get all of those colors. However, if you want to get any of those pastel colors, then of course you need to lift up to pale yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Randolph?
I agree with everything that Leslie said is amazing. As far as the pre-lightning thing, I love pre-lightning afro hair with pacifier because it's just cool and it's controlling and it gives you time. Because a lot of the time you work in afro hair, they mix up their bleach to put it on and they apply it and it's gone up to that bright orangey yellow kind of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Then it's like with the pacifier, it's calm. You use your technique, you do your pre-lightning, then afterwards you've got all these wonderful Chroma ID colors you can use. Obviously, if you're going to use some of the brighter colors, then you can lift up to yellow, where you will definitely have to use bleach. But for pre-lightning, pacifier, and then the blender, amazing. Afro hair is just fun to work with, but you kind of got to know a little bit of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if the client's got relaxed hair, then obviously you don't take the color to the roots. You always leave at least an inch or so. So when they're going for their next chemical surface, it doesn't affect the colored hair.
Very, very good answers, both of you. Because I think,
one thing I forgot to say, the Chroma ID, what I like about the Chroma ID, not only does it do color, but it really, really conditions the hair. So you're getting 2 hits for one thing. And so it treats the hair, feeds the hair, makes the hair feel a lot better. So most black girls have a treatment every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, you can change the color slightly.
Great one. Great one, guys.
Great.
Can I just pop
Jack,
something
step in.
So what I want to say is that, of course, if your undercoat is going to support the new direction you want to go to, and the color sits on it nicely with your Chroma ID or your Vibrance, then that's great. But if the undercoat, you're going in a different direction, you're going to have to cleanse that out, first of all, with either a detox or a light cleanse on it, always respecting the hair. But the undercoat determines where you're going to go, really. And so, if you've gone to warm and you want to go cool, you're going to have to clean that out a little bit and then go with your cooler tone.
Talking about all of this, and thank you for your answers, guys. They're really good, really, because they're really insightful in terms of, basically, next question, which leads on to pastel fire, is, and this comes from Ali in Canada, how long do you leave the pastel fire on? Do you apply this on dry hair first, or can it be applied on pre-colored hair, or just blondes and natural hair?
Okay. Can I answer that one?
Yeah, you answer that one. Leslie.
Okay, so for me, pacifier. Yeah, for me, pacifier is this magical product. There are so many ways to use it. It actually wasn't made to be pre-lightening hair. That's just something that as colorists we've all got to grips with, and loving the amount of even lift and gentle lift that you're getting. And a lot of the time, like Randolph just said, it's enough to create some of these softer sort of muted colors. It's made obviously to lift any of the other colors in the portfolio. But when you're putting it on the scalp, what I like to do as a pre-lightener is go onto the scalp with either 6 or 9%, and then do all the lengths with 12%. It's very gentle. You're going to get up to sort of 4 levels of lift. And I know the question had a sub-question. It was whether you could use it over pre-coloured hair. You can
it be applied on
but to be
pre-coloured?
honest,
Yeah.
there are other tools in our, our
Colour
portfolio
armoury.
that are better to lift. So something like the colour remover, which is so gentle and so full of our bonding forcing, that I would prefer to go with the colour remover, unless it's just like a little budge that you're trying to nudge that old colour out. Then you can go in with pacifying. And I don't know whether I can just say this. I don't know if it's a bit rude, but on my live tomorrow, I'm only talking about pacifying, everything that you can do it and all the ratios and everything. I'm very, very passionate about pacifying.
Right. We're slowly
Amazing product.
in the closing phases. Another two kind of last questions. First of all, first question, the packaging of Agora was changed, but are the formulas still the same? Will all the Royal Takeover shades still exist? And why are they changing to double digit?
It's easier.
Well, I don't want to hog, but if I talk about Royal Takeover, and then I'll let someone else talk about the tints, because Royal Takeover, as everyone knows, was a triple digit because it was, myself and Jean-Philippe and a couple, Rossa and Bethine, and all the colours we wanted as a triple digit because we put all this time into creating these very, very sort of nuanced colours. Now, we are keeping 3 of the colours from Dusted Rouge, and they will all go to a double digit. So, for example, if it was 8-849, which was without a doubt my favourite, that would just be known as the first 2 digits. And all of the other colours, so that would be like 8-84. And all of the other colours that are staying will just keep the first 2 digits after the depth. I think there's 3 in Nocturnes and 3 in Dishevelled Nudes.
Dishevelled, okay. Okay, clear, good. One of my last questions is, what do you all like about the new Agora Royal? So maybe I start again with ladies. So can you think of, what do you like about the new Agora Royal? Simple question, but actually not that easy to answer. Viola. Come on. Or do you want to go first or last?
Agora Royal has a wonderful portfolio. And this is what I need for my work every time, every day. So it's for me, it's the best color. I worked with them 20 years.
And it's still the best.
Wow.
Yes, for me, yes.
Yeah, I agree. It is. I call it the grande dame of color. It is just tremendous. Guys, who else?
I love that it's true. The colour's true.
It's performed.
It performs beautifully. It mixes easily. But the actual tones, sometimes you use other products or you've used other products and they don't come out like you imagine it to be. Whereas this is it. Like the 777, 7-77, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's true to the swatch chart. I mean, amazing. That's what I love about Agora.
And I totally agree with you, Jack. It's one of its key assets. It's true stuff, really. What comes out of the tube is what you see on the shade chart. Boom, boom. No bullshit. That's it. Yeah. It's absolutely fab. And I'm not saying it but I'm saying it as a hairdresser rather than, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, but. No, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying on behalf of Schwarzkopf, it is absolutely, for me, it's one of the great color brands, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that you can recycle it. Oh, okay.
No, Shai, please.
I actually love the new outfit of the, that it's a bit different red. It's looks more dusted, and that you can recycle it as well.
That's a great aspect.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
But
I think, that's I think, in this day and age, that's really critical, really important. that we all preserve our world. I mean, I think it's a really topical subject. So it's fab that we're all aspiring to do that, all of us, as a community of hairdressers. I think that's really critical to do. So anything that can help is fantastic. And I think, we absolutely have a commitment on this level. You know that, all of us. Our parent company, Henkel, have a total commitment to sustainability and have some very ambitious targets for the future. So, and I'm very proud about that, actually. And I think internally in our company, I think we all stand and rah-rah, because I think it's, it's not just about initiatives like Shaping Futures, which I think some of you saw today, snapshots of helping hairdressers, build sustain our community. It's also about sustaining the world through sustainable shows the objectives when it comes to packaging and materials and so on, and sourcing of the right materials. So, sorry, my little standing on a bucket and talking, yeah. But, Randolph, you were talking about what for you, what is Agora Royal?
Everything that everybody before me has said, plus I never have to look anywhere else for the colours I need to create. That is a really cool thing, because if you talk to most colorists, they use a bit of this and use a bit of that. I like this, but with Agora Royal, it does everything that I want it to do.
Yeah.
And when it comes to shine and condition, it's brilliant.
Fab. Eduardo, you kept quiet.
No, I wanted to say something.
Please.
No, basically, obviously it's performance, but I just wanted to say I've been working with many brands in my life, and I do, like Tyler, I do work a lot on wigs and wefts, because obviously it's like what I do. It's like I have to use that for my work. And there's something about Agora. I'm talking a little bit like a pirate. Obviously, it's like from probably Leslie. She will pull my ears, but it's performing. And also, I have to say that it performs also in a pirate's way. When I say this, is because sometimes the way I work, I like to sometimes go off the track. It's like I over dilute things, or over extra diluted. So I like that it performs even in that case, because sometimes, as you know, as a colorist, I know we have all the bullets to work in different scenarios. But sometimes when you work on wigs or wefts, or you prepare for shoots, you work with a specific type of hair, which can be sometimes extra porous. So I have to say that it's amazing even when you go off track. And that's not for, probably it's like no any other brands can do that. And I've been trying many. So in a creative way, that's what it is.
Brilliant. It just is, exactly. It's color beyond for me. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the chance to manipulate it. And...
Exactly. And to cook with it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, cooking.
Yeah, it's cooking. Great question from Rossa and Ali in Canada for all of you. Okay, so I'm going to go round the room, because obviously I can get Tyler and Florian involved. Right, to everyone from Rossa and Ali in Canada, we have all been inspired from this 3-day seminar, and all of you. What kept you inspired through this pandemic? Great question, you guys. Really good. And it's really, and it's true. I mean, what keeps you going? So who's going to start? You're all nodding your heads, but Tyler, you're top of
me inspired.
Right, Jack, come on.
Okay, I'll go.
No, okay, Tyler and then
go.
Jack.
All right, Tyler.
The question was what has kept us inspired throughout COVID,
this pandemic,
throughout these times,
through the lockdown, through COVID.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm kind of different. I don't work in a salon, so obviously a lot of salons have closed, which is very unfortunate. I am actually allowed to. I have not all through the lockdown, but I'm working at the moment. We are shooting. I kind of come under a different banner. kind of under film and media and photo shoots. So we are actually still allowed to work, which is, which is probably, interesting.
Whatever, interesting.
And so which has been good. It's so my head is in a good place. During the actual lockdown when nobody could work, I'm very fortunate where I am at the moment. I've got a workspace at the top of the house where they tell me to go when I'm driving everyone crazy. And I've been working on a lot of wigs. I've been doing some animation with headpieces and wigs with my daughter, who's a budding photographer. We've both been doing these stop motion heads with hair moving, and we've been cutting it and breaking it down. So that has kept me going. But being creative, keeping being creative is my thing.
Jack?
For me, in the lockdown, and it's been a long 8 months with a few breaks here in the UK. It's been really tough. Obviously, online education, which you guys were offering totally free at Schwarzkopf Professional, which was just fantastic. Watching friends and people I don't know doing their lives on Instagram and social media has kept me inspired and kept me going. Yeah. And then, I've had loads of time to catch up on movies, and I do love some of the hair that you see in some of the movies. That is so cool. So I've just been watching, learning. There's been so much free stuff, which has been absolutely amazing. That's kept me going and kept me inspired.
Shy and Flo.
Well, to be honest, I think it's crazy that as well at this time you don't have so many ways to do anything, and still there is chances to be creative. Look at this event. I mean, it's unbelievable that we can connect, and it never happened before. And I think as well, it's very hard. I don't want to disagree, but still, I think if it gets very tight, there's still creativity, and you can do. I think creativity never goes away. So no matter what happens, so that I think this is something that, for me, it's important to go on.
And actually, during the lockdown, we've been still quite busy. We kept our team busy, and we've been a little pain for them, finding things for them to do. We had an online education together with them every day. We had classes with them, and at home, our house was looked like a hairdressing salon. Actually, it's been doll heads everywhere, our kids in the middle, and then we've been making music a lot and listening to music and painting and doing a lot of creative things at home.
Of course.
Actually, we've been quite busy at that time. It didn't.
It sounds it. Yeah. I mean, but I guess that's the world of the creative. I mean, everything you touch is something inspirational in it, as you say.
Yeah, and definitely we're happy to have a little house and our kids, and and definitely we're also very thankful for that, and maybe it's different for other people. Yeah.
Viola?
Oh, my husband, of course, and
can I ask you a question? Viola's husband is actually a very well-known DJ in one of the big clubs in Berlin. So he's, cool. And he is very cool. Really, she plays it right down. She keeps it all very cool. I'm always wanting to get kind of soundtracks from her because this would be really special, So she needs to produce them for Essential Looks, But my question is: he able? He's not working, right? Is he able to work?
He's not working for 1 year.
Wow.
It's really tough. Difficult for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a name for Impfzentrum. Flo, Shai, helft mir. Impfzentrum. What's the name?
Vaccination center?
Oh, the Impfungszentrum. Yeah. The vaccination center.
He works in there. He helps.
Okay.
For many people. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he doing today.
And he's doing it today. Wow.
Yeah, and
that's
the next
amazing.
month. So.
Wow.
That's, I love him. Yeah.
Chapeau. Really, it's amazing.
And
amazing. And he
And we have a
inspires.
big friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
So
well
we have a
imagine.
big friends, and every day I go running.
Yeah, very well done.
And you know I love wine. A good red wine.
It certainly
my
passes the time. It
Inspiration.
certainly passes the time. Eduardo, what do you do?
Yes. Well,
I know what you do
actually, it's
because we share videos.
well,
We sometimes share videos. I know what you do. You invent. He sits there and invents. He really does.
in the bad time, it's been a good time because you have a chance to sit back and then you look at things that sometimes you leave behind, like you look at all notes and then you experiment. Obviously, spending time more with my family and experimenting a lot. And actually, it's amazing how you have I personally have so many ideas now that before sometimes you have to stay over all night to think now to get into some projects. Now I can say that I have so many projects already lined up, and it's amazing. And obviously, it's like experimenting with things that usually you don't. I have to tell you, Simon, talking about foods, I'm experimenting with food coloring at the moment.
Well, I can understand that completely. Because I remember you sending me a
And it's
video
actually
at 2 in the morning
Look, I have some
of
here. Look.
injection, or you were using syringes. Okay, look at him. Guys, I mean, really,
Amazing.
Eduardo is an amazing personality. I mean, we sometimes share, we're just bouncing ideas always.
It's powder.
And he sometimes will send them in the middle of the night, and he just and he mixes them, puts them into syringes. We sometimes have double barrel, 2 or 3 syringes on the go, don't we? I mean, some amazing ideas. And we were once having dinner, and we were looking at spaghetti, and we were talking, suddenly, this conversation about the shapes around pasta started a conversation about texture and about how you could apply color. Yeah, but that is what makes special people. It's really something. And all I would say is, long may you live. I mean, really, I think people find what you do absolutely, I find it personally totally inspiring. That's why we always want you to be part of our team on Essential Looks, because you always bring something fresh, a different insight, a different view on things. You're Mr. Madman sometimes, I agree. And sometimes your cooking goes, but what you produce is genius. And I celebrate you. So, coming back, what do you do, Randolph, during pandemic?
Well, in the beginning, it was just nice being home and not traveling and being on the road, and just being a normal human being. That was really good. And where I live, there's a little river which I used to go for a walk, and it's just amazing that in Tooting we have that. Then after
That's Tooting in London,
a week
right?
of that, it's like, that's right, yes, UK. And then after that, it's like, okay, something needs to happen here. So I start, because I used to be on a team with Eugene Solomon, so we used to do all the shows. And I got loads of pictures, and I flick through those, and I think, wow, that's really cool. And that gets you thinking about what you need to do. So I've got some colours here at home, so I got some swatches. So I start playing around with colours and swatches and seeing how they were mixtures and come up with colours and writing them down and stuff like that. And I look on the internet, see what other people are doing, and thinking, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. And then get experience, and I got dummies all over the place, and just start playing with them. And then something like this happens. Randolph, who wants you to be a part of Essential Looks, it's like, oh my God, really? So I'm thinking, okay, that's focused me. So that's something to look forward to. And then you get the brief and you start thinking about what you need to do. And then you say, oh, yeah, okay, so we've got to kind of say it's chocolate. I go, yeah, chocolate. And we, pink. Yeah, pink chocolate. That's kind of nice. Yeah, we could do with that. And just all these things are swimming in your head. And every now and then you need something to focus you, and then they all kind of fall in line and you start creating something. And it's a lot of experimenting and stuff like that. So, and I really miss all the museums and galleries and stuff like that you can't go to anymore.
No, true.
Which is a bit sad.
Leslie, last of all.
Oh, thank you, Simon. I think, like everybody, the first lockdown in spring last year was quite easy. Beautiful weather here in London. But then that wore off pretty quick. And then I had Schwarzkopf USA, thank you very much, guys, asked me to do a series of lives for them. And I just literally jumped in at the deep end. I've never, ever done a live by myself before. It's always been at head office. And I've always had the social media team sort of behind me telling me 10 minutes ago or writing the questions on big cards. And all I had to do was to do my stuff. So really from that, I'm now doing these kind of weekly, just 30-minute lives, and it's sort of more educational. But I've really learned how to speak to the camera, read the questions, do something, and getting all the likes. So a new skill. That's been really good.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think everybody has learned new skill sets. I mean, having to do their own thing, create their own kind of videos, live streams. But you know what? It's great. It's great for our industry. It's great for everybody. And I have to say that it's only bringing what I call richness and new ideas and new experiences to everyone. So it's great. And I think what we've all seen is the explosion in learning and explosion on e-learning, so to speak. So I encourage everybody to do it because I think we've got to be prepared to hit the ground running. So, I first of all want to say thank you to this wonderful team of people. I would say all of you, wonderful collection. The Royal Glory collection is something very unique, very special. It's celebrating also the best of color and the new Igora restage. I encourage all of you to follow our ambassadors. So their social media tags, everybody, the hashtags, everybody is up there. Please follow them because they are really exceptional individuals. I want to thank all of you for all of your, shall we say, patience, commitment. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I know that it's been really fun to create all of this content. It's been a lot of hard work, I have to say. It's been a steep learning curve for everybody. But I think hopefully the content that we've been able to produce and deliver to you all has been enriching, has been inspirational, has been something that you can keep and grow from. So I think it's tremendous. Keep following Essential Looks. As one last point, and I know in this studio, at the end of the day, it's not just me. I am part of a team. And very often it's the people who are backstage who actually do the hardest work and put the greatest amount of commitment. And can I tell you, there are 3 wonderful ladies, in fact, 4 wonderful ladies. One of them couldn't be here tonight with us, but there are 4 wonderful ladies in my team, and I really want to personally mention them, celebrate. I would ask them to come up and stand in front of the camera, actually, even with masks on. Guys, I'd love you just to quickly appear and just say thank you to our world, because they are really special, and they are the ones who make it happen for all of us. Well done. Yes. Come on. So, Celine, Kata, please, just quickly stand on the stage beside me. So, just to quickly introduce you. Come on. My wonderful Catalina, Celine, and the incredible Marilisa, really, who leads the team with me. And can I just ask you, camera crew, just to slightly steer your cameras in so you can, doesn't matter they're backstage, just to turn your cameras so that, that's it, you catch these wonderful ladies. I want to thank these incredible people because they are also instrumental. There's one lady I said before, Camille, all the way from France, who is still in the office tonight. And they have produced not only the book, they do all the trend research. Yes. And someone asked the question, how do you go about doing this? Well, I can tell you right now that already we are more or less ready to do the shoot. We would have normally be doing the Essential Look shoot within the next few weeks after Paris Fashion Week. So we are literally all the time on a circular roll producing looking at the trends, looking at lifestyle trends, looking at fashion trends as they fall off the catwalks, analyzing them with this wonderful group of people, working with our brands, saying which key brands do we need to work with and partner up with to be able to promote this season's collection. Because at the end of the day, it's really important for all of us to understand Essential Looks only exists because we have an incredible product range to be able to promote. And it survives on the fact that we work with our product brands. But we don't just willy-nilly pull them out. We actually identify the trends and say which kind of hair, which kind of colors do we need in terms of our palettes every season. And we have to find, again, partners to work with in terms of the right people who will produce the right quality of work, which exactly what this wonderful crew here have done. So these special people have produced it for us. These special people, my wonderful creatives here on screen, who are joining us all from all over the world, I say to all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of us, the hairdresser community. Really, long may you continue to do what you all do. It's amazing, okay? I hope you've enjoyed the Royal Glory collection. I hope you've enjoyed these last 3 days. Follow us, follow Essential Looks, go online, download the assets, don't forget, and make it live. That's all I say to you all. Make it live, because as long as it lives, the more it grows. And we are one world, one global community that will get past this lockdown and come out fighting and stronger than before. Stay well, stay safe. Speak to you soon.